Hello, friends, families, haters, disciples. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I've been wanting to do this video, and if I can get through this video without being interrupted by someone this way, it'll be amazing. But um, a lot of my close followers understand what I'm going through, or I don't know if they understand, but they know what I'm going through. It's hard to understand what somebody goes through when a close family member has dementia. If you've never experienced it, it'll drive you nuts. And I'm BS crazy today. So I'm just going to call this dementia, the follow up. It does not fall in theme with the channel, but I've talked about this in the past, and I think it's very important to share. I care more about sharing important topics than having just one. I'm not going to go create a separate channel for dementia because this person may not be here in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. So I'm not going to make a separate channel just to do that. I am going to share my life with my followers, my friends, my supporters. So I'm going to back up a little bit. And a former employer advised me about 3 weeks ago that they had, I already knew they were selling the company, sold the company. I'm not sure all the details on the legal transaction, but I worked for them probably over 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. I don't remember what it was. I worked for them for about 3 years. So I get notified through email correspondence that there is they called it a cash balance distribution fund. So I'm like, cool, this is good. And then I follow up with it. So I'm thinking it's going to be like $50 or something, minutes, some like ridiculous thing. But it ends up being almost like $2K. So I'm like, all right. So I figured after taxes, I don't know, we're looking at 1,600, whatever it's going to be. I don't know. So I do some follow up. I get emailed the paperwork, and I fill it out. I send it back, priority mail, trying to expedite the process because I'll talk about the employer I was working for, but I want to get back to the dementia scenario. So my mom's power of attorney is my brother. The last day he was here was December 24th. We spoke briefly on the phone 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever. I guess he's been ill or something like that. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's been like 4.5 weeks, whatever. He hasn't been around. So I'd already made the decision I was going to leave my other employer because of dysfunctionality, lack of management, just a lot of just BS. I can touch base on that later. But knowing that I had these funds coming in, I'm like, that's cool. That I give me time to take care of some of my finances, tend to my mother, which she does. When I was working, my schedule worked where now I was working during the day, 10 to 6, and I couldn't really tend to her. She was failing to take her medication. She has to take it at 7 in the morning, 7 p.m., and it's just a lot of crazy nonsense going on. And then she gets so many calls, so it's better for me to, I hate to use the term babysit, but mother watch, I don't know what, but just basically try and look after somebody who's not making good decisions. And talking to too many people on the phones, she's been given guidelines. Don't answer the phone when you see this, don't answer the phone, but it doesn't last very long. The comprehension, short-term memory with this, I can only speak from my case with people with dementia. It's crazy. Like I've told people this before, I've mentioned this before. My mother can tell me how to bake a recipe from 60, 70 years ago. She can remember it off the top of her head, but she'll ask, like earlier today, about an hour ago, she asked me, I kid you not, and I'm not exaggerating, within a span of 90 seconds max, she asked me, what day is today? What is today's date? And I told her, and she kept asking me, and she doesn't, like, it doesn't absorb. Um, so many little things like that. Then the other big problem with my mom, um, she lost the privilege to drive 13 months ago because of her age, her health, her vision, her hearing, just a multitude of problems. So the doctor suggested, you know, she got like a 4 week extension, which extended into like December, whatever. But she's no longer legal to drive. She does have the vehicle in her garage, and when I was the primary, when I say the primary, the local person here closest to my mom, my brother's about, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours away, whatever it is. And I took both sets of keys just to be able to, you know, make sure she's not driving. I don't want her to, you know, run over somebody or, you know, run into a car with family in it. And everything I understand that if there was some type of incident like that, basically the power of attorney would be liable, which I don't want that for anybody. My brother is the power of attorney, and we've spoken about that a little bit in the past. I'm trying to not go down that road right now because it very much bothers me. But my mom is very, very frail. She's 89, and she has like blood bruises all over her body. She takes 7 pills a day each day when she remembers. I have to stay on her about that. She doesn't eat very well. You have to force her to eat. She eats like a bird. It's very sad to see, but from my case, I can't speak for all others, but you're going to get the same questions over and over and over and over again. So that can wear on you. That really can wear on you. And she, like, I'll give you an example. Excuse me, earlier today, my mom sleeps like, I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating, probably sleeps, I don't know if she sleeps, but she's laying down in bed 21 out of like 24 hours a day. So she gets up, and I see she's kind of like dressed. She likes to dress up when she goes out places. I see her putting her watch on. I said, are you going somewhere? And she says, yes, I'm going to the bank. And earlier, I don't know, hour or two before we had an episode. I'll swing back around to that. Let me flip this handle down. But I said, how are you getting here? She goes, I'm going to drive. And I'm like, Mom, no, you can't drive. I said, you don't have a license anymore. You're legally not allowed to drive. And neither one of us have keys. Your other son has the keys, and he's about an hour and a half and 2 hours away. And there's a reason for that. And so this is where I get really, really, it hits a nerve in my heart. She said, well, you can take me. I said, no, Mom. I said, you can't even get in and out of your own car without a lot of assistance. You're not going to get into my van. I keep telling her the same thing over and over again. So the van sits very high up, even with the stool and my van. The conditions of the inside of the van are not really good because it's all loaded with tackle. It's very much a work van. I don't know how to describe this to people where they understand it. The AC, right now we don't need the AC, but later, some of these afternoons are getting up to 84 here, but in the near future. But it works intermittently, and most of the time it doesn't work. The heat works intermittently. It's something to do with a blower fan or something like that. But anyway, so I keep refusing to do that because I know there's a high risk of her getting hurt. She doesn't have the muscle strength to do that. I would have to physically lift her up and put her, I'm not going through that. I don't want her to go through that because she does not comprehend. other people do not comprehend. Her friends and whatever, they think I don't want to take her. I've been here; it's no problem. So earlier in the week, my mom has a real big calendar. She does a pretty good job at this. Sometimes she gets confused, but she'll write like doctor's appointment on her calendar, and then a time, and then like my brother who has the keys to her car hasn't been around. This is not I'm not bashing him. I'm just telling the story. So he hasn't been around. Like my mom's like right here on the other side of this door. She's probably not listening, but I'm trying to be respectful and not offend her or insult her. But so earlier in the week or at the end of last week, my mom said her friend was going to take her to this. My mom had some hair appointment that she's rescheduled like 3 or 4 times because my mom keeps scheduling these appointments that she has no way to get to. And like when I was working over a week and a half ago, like all my schedule had shifted to daytime. She would make all these appointments during the daytime and she had no way to get there. So it's just very, very frustrating. So we had to go through this today. I had a feeling this was going to happen today. She had an appointment for 10 or 10:15 for a hair appointment. So it's been an ongoing problem. So I leave early because I can foresee what's going. I know what's going to happen. Even though she told me her friend was going to take her, that was earlier in the week. I knew that the likelihood of that was not going to occur. So I'm out and about doing some legitimate errands, and my phone rings. I actually had it charging in the van. I was in a store, came back, and saw that my mom had called. I checked, there was no voicemail message. So then I get another voicemail message. She called back later when I went to another store and saying, I just want to let you know I'm going to be at a hair appointment and all this and everything. But she calls again, so I finally answer, and I'm like, there's another part to the story. I'm going to try and fast forward just to get to this conversation that was very much broken up. But we're going through the same process of, do you have the keys to the car? I'm like, no, Mom. It's never ending with the keys to the car thing. Certain things she cannot process, and the questions continually occur. And when you constantly, calmly explain something, when you're looking someone in the eye, trying to make it clear to them, you think that they comprehend, and then you realize like 30 seconds later, 90 seconds later, 5 minutes later, it did not absorb. So that's my dealings with what I'm experiencing with dementia. My mom has been very adamant. She does not want to go to a assisted living home, a nursing home, retirement home, whatever you want to call it. She wants to pass away here in her house, and I can respect that, but it's to the point where I'm trying to get back to employment, but I realize that she's going to be a hot mess if no one's here to supervise her, and I have no legal rights to make any decisions one way or the other. I'm basically like a sidekick, just watching the process transpire. So it's there's so much. I mean, here I'm just trying to share like some of the things you may see if you have to live this in the future. Some of the things I'm experiencing, like when I was working 10 to 6, I would leave real early. Like I would leave at like 7 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark down here in Southwest Florida at 7 o'clock in the morning. Then I would go do a bunch of stuff. I'd get food on the way to work. I'd get gas, do things. I was always an hour early for work. and it was just a crazy setup how the whole work thing was working. But when I would get to work, I would call my mom on the phone. I'm like, "Hey, did you take your pills this morning?" She says, "Yes, I took the pills when you called me." I said, "Mom, I haven't called you today." And this reoccurs every day. She thinks that I called her to take the pills, and yes, I took them when you called me, but I haven't called her. So I, I, I pretty much have to force her to get out of bed, visually take a look. She goes, "Yes, I took the pills. Today's Tuesday, right?" And I said, "No, Mom, it's Thursday or Friday, whatever the real day of the." So she's really confused on her dates, times, and I could somewhat see how a retired person who doesn't, really have to know the day of the week can be confused. But when you've been given the answer multiple times like within a 5-minute period or whatever, it gets very frustrating because you can see the decline happening rapidly. And so I don't want the process to get much worse. The good thing about me being home here recently with her, I've been able to shop for her with her credit card, do her thing, because my financial situation is still recovering. And right now it's like I'm back to rock bottom because this check that's supposed to have been here a week and a half ago is still not here. I want to make that another story, hopefully in the near future if I'm still vertical. But so I try to make sure she's well fed. She's supposed to eat a lot of greens and salads, and she puts my mom's French, so all she cares about eating is like a couple slices of baguette with butter and cheese, and that's like to her that's like hitting the lottery. But she's got to eat other foods, and sometimes you have to force her to do that. And I hate to be someone who's turns into a dictator, but unfortunately, in the last 4.5 weeks, I've been the person who's got to control her life, and I don't have a problem with that as long as I can still maintain my own life finances. And knowing that I had this check that was supposed to be coming in, I figured that would give me a good time between transition of jobs because there is another opportunity for me, or that was there for me for a couple other jobs through a temp agency. Now may not be there, I don't know, but I'm trying to expand on my tackle business, but me being around the house has really helped her. I do a lot of dishes for her. She does. I still leave some chores for her because she likes to do the dishes, even though she does not do them very well. She can't see that well. After she does the dishes, like there was some spoons and stuff, there was all still crusty in her. I just put it back in a soaking pan, and I'm going to clean that up, follow up. But she still likes to try and do things. Here's another example of some of the things you may see with a person with dementia. Let's say I go out. Usually my mom's mail comes between 4 and 5. The last couple of days it's come a little bit earlier, around 2ish, and I'll go out and check the mail, bring it in. She's only had these like little postcard like solicitations, just like one yesterday, one today, which is very rare. Usually she's got all kinds of stuff coming in. So I'll go in, give her the mail. Is there just no mail? I didn't get a check today. That I will talk and everything. And then like 90 seconds or 2 minutes later, I see her walking out. I said, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going to check the mail." I said, I'm like, "Oh my God, like, please save me. Somebody save me." And, sometimes I say, "Well, we just checked the mail, Mom. It's okay. You don't have any mail." Sometimes I just let her do it just to let her get the exercise. I pray she doesn't fall or anything, but sometimes you just got to try and roll with it. So I really want people to share any experiences they've had. Are any of the things I'm telling you or sharing with you, have you experienced any of that, or am I just the only one going crazy here on this end? I really feel sometimes, I'm not even trying to be a smart ass, I feel like it's almost like rubbing off, like it's almost contagious, because I don't know, because my brain is going in so many different directions. Sometimes I'm starting to be forgetful. I don't know if it's because I have too many worries or whatever, but anyway, peace out, folks. Share your story, and I'm just trying to share life, and then hopefully, not hopefully, eventually the end of life due to a terrible disease. Peace out, folks. I appreciate you listening to me. Let's talk again soon.